Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Passive Buddies podcast. Now, today we've got another guest on, and this one is going to be so interesting. We were talking before the show, and it was just getting me all excited about the different avenues people don't even think about to make passive income. So, Mr. Monopoly himself.
I appreciate that.
Today we have Brandon Duff. Brandon, welcome to the show, mate. Thank you so much for coming on.
And thank you so much for having me. I love, every time we get up on a show, it's always a pleasure. I love doing these with you. So glad to be on again.
Yeah, I think this is the third time we've done a show, haven't we? But This one's like such a different spin. Like obviously the Passive Buddies podcast is all about obviously learning how to build passive income streams and sometimes the marketing strategies behind it. So obviously I know you've got so many different marketing strategies as well. So we'll get to them, but obviously what really interests me about obviously today's interview is the variety of different passive income streams. So obviously you started offline and then came online. What attracted you to online rather than your successful PT business at the time?
Oh man. So mostly just the ability to get away from time, like exchanging time for money. That was kind of the most important thing to me. I was a personal trainer, so I exchanged hourly. So it was a session for for my time, and I did really well. And I wanted to kind of escape the rat race. And so most people that I knew that were kind of being successful invested in real estate. So that's kind of the first bit of like passive income that I really got into. Actually, kind of the most passive was when I was a young kid, I would set up these accounts in World of Warcraft and they would play automatically, and they would farm gold, and then I would sell that gold to like as players and make money. But like I didn't really think that as passive, but now thinking back, it kind of was. So like fast forward, I wanted to buy real estate. And so I ended up buying real estate because I was doing well in fitness. And I ended up moving to Texas and giving up my fitness business. And by that time we had 10 rental properties. And so I thought online was going to be the best bet because I can kind of take my clients online. And I didn't really like the feel of that. And I kind of got burnt out with coaching. So I was like, well, maybe I can get online and do like affiliate marketing. And so I thought, okay, I can make like 30% on people's products and I don't have to do any of the work. I don't have to do any of the back office stuff. I can just sell in a sense and make 30%. That sounded pretty great. I did pretty decent, but I figured, you know what, I was using all these tools. I'll just hire someone to kind of make this like super product for me and then sell to all the people that I've kind of built relationships with because I know they need something like this because I was needing something like this. And so I ended up selling it to them, and it was a Facebook CRM tool and it did really well. And so I ended up hiring someone to kind of take over in a sense. And now I just make almost like a dividend every single month because of that. And in doing so, it's kind of bought back my time because now I don't have to worry about like customer support. I don't need to worry about like, is it working? Any of that. It's all handled by someone else. And I'd rather have like 50% of something that's working than 100% of nothing, because if I had 100% of nothing, obviously that's nothing. So I ended up, giving up a percentage of that business so I didn't have to actually work on that business. So bought back my time. And then that allowed me to get into now, which is Action Infinity, which is kind of like the esports thing. Now that's what I'm really excited about.
1 second. What's up, mate? Quickly.
All
right, okay. Daddy'll have to come and sort it in a minute, okay? All right, off you go. Bye. No, listen, get out.
No.
Get out now.
No.
No, you can't wait in here. Get out. Mummy will fix it. Go.
I'll have to
Every
get your
single
advice
time.
on that, because we're going to be trying in the next when we get, so we leave to Cabo tomorrow. So we're going to leave for Cabo and we're going to try again. And so how to balance that dad and at-home entrepreneur life, it's going to be tough.
Do you know what? Obviously, it's going well off on the podcast, but this happens every time we're on a podcast of the night. He always walks in. He's not usually that stubborn, no. And do you know what, mate? It's literally we're really lucky, aren't we, when we work online? It's like, because two of my kids are older, so they go to school. So I work, but the minute I drop them off, come home, I'll sit in the office and I'll do some work, pick them up from school, that's me done. Until tonight, obviously, when I put them to bed and they're not supposed to come back, obviously, then it's my time to deal with the American clients and the American audience and stuff like that. So I split it quite nicely. Obviously, I don't do nothing before they go to school. I don't do nothing when they come home. So,
that's good.
And do you know what? Ironically, the other day, the middle one that's just come in, Ollie, he was saying, we were talking about, like, daddy's doing work. My daddy doesn't work.
That's amazing.
I was like,
that's really good.
I was like, in one aspect, good, because she never sees me like smashing it out and like doing the active side of business. I was like, but the other, I was like, he just must sit there and think in his 4-year-old brain that money comes. Like, it's all right, money just rocks up no matter what you do. I was like, sort of, but you have to put the right foundations in place.
Right.
Which
that's
is
important.
100%, which takes me to, you went from fitness to real estate. How did you, obviously, because a lot of people see that as a huge jump financially, deposit wise, stuff like that. How did you do that?
So I'm a very frugal person. I didn't have a lot of bills. So typically I made a lot of money in fitness. So I made over 6 figures. And so being able to put away $10,000 or so every single month allowed me to pretty much buy a rental property. I didn't have my rent was very low to none, because I was dating a woman who was in property management, and she got a discount on her rent. And so we lived together. And so I didn't have any bills in that sense. And so all my money went to savings and going to sushi with her and that sort of thing. She's now my wife. But and I've paid her back by paying off her student loan debt. But yeah, she's awesome. She's really cool. And I also when we first started dating, she had a BMW, so it's like I need a BMW, and so that was like my big expense really was my BMW. Later on, I ended up selling that or getting rid of it, getting a Prius, and now that makes me money. But yeah, I got into it, got into real estate because that's how I knew like wealthy people retired. And so I just every month from being a trainer, just put money away, having no real expenses in life, and so just shoveling it away. And then having a good credit score helped too.
Okay, so you've done it the old-fashioned, just the saving and grit.
Right.
So there's no quick hacks there. Do you know what? It takes discipline. It takes a lot of discipline. Then you moved online and you went affiliate. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, the thing is, once you get your first property, it becomes easier, like with your second one and your third one. And like I got my fourth one for free, because the way that happens is you're able to actually leverage the asset as itself and borrow against it. And so that frees up cash flow while just kind of delaying the debt. And so what we were able to do is, like, for the first one, I did that. And the second one, I did the same thing. I did the old fashioned style. And on the third time, we bought a 4-unit, and I ended up borrowing against those properties and some of my own money, and then buying this bigger property, a 4-plex. And then I ended up buying and borrowing against all 3 properties and buying the 4th property without any money out of pocket. And that was just because I was able to keep borrowing against the asset. And so I ended up only putting in like I want to say total 90,000, but the assets were worth like 1.7 million. So it was quite the hedge in a sense. And so we were able to take profits this year. We paid off my wife's student loan debt, and we ended up buying pretty much our dream home, which is like 3,600 square feet on a 9,600 square foot lot, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, a theater room, an office, and like a whole upstairs. So like a pretty nice property. And that was just from the rental properties and like doing leverage and knowing how like money works. And so I got into affiliate marketing, and I thought it was really cool that you can leverage people's other assets or their talents in a way, and then use your talent of selling and be able to sell another product. I thought that was really cool, especially the people that really love the product and have conviction in it tend to do the best in selling the actual product itself. And so I couldn't really find anything that I was in love with. So I ended up just creating my own things, and I was totally in love with them because I created them. And so obviously I had our software, and I love our toolkit. And so I use that for myself, like even today, for just keeping track of like Dream 100 or whatever it is. And so from there, and like I said, I created a software, and then I got into actually creating a esports team.
Right, now, this is definitely where a lot of people will pick a lot of interest. So esports team, so you've gone from, because you were the passive income guy, you were the passive income coach, weren't you? And like everyone was just in awe because you were literally just well, you were pulling apart other coaches for fun, which was hilarious to sit and watch. Literally breaking down the scams that were online. Then you obviously attracted a lot of attention. A lot of people loved you for the passive income side, because a lot of people teach basically hustle till you die and hopefully you'll make some high ticket sales. Where you were like, no, fuck that. No, not a chance. Let's do it right. Let's do it smart. And a lot of people attracted a lot of attention. No, you attracted a lot of attention. Then obviously the crypto just started going bigger and bigger, and you went head first, from what I see outside looking in, head first into the crypto space, and more importantly, the play to earn, which you mentioned a little bit of the World of Warcraft that went back when you were a kid. But tell me about this play to earn scenario and how you got into it, how you set it up, and how you make money from it. And we'll talk about how you made it passive later.
Yeah, definitely. So play to earn is where essentially you're buying assets like a rental property, and you're letting other people borrow it and use it to earn an income. And so in doing so, you split earnings from it. And so there's a few games that are kind of very popular right now, like Axie Infinity and the Vega Axie. And so we're very heavily invested into Axie Infinity. And so essentially what we have is these NFTs that are used in the video game, and virtual assistants will use them and play a video game and earn a cryptocurrency that you take a split on. And so I'm able to take that cryptocurrency and use it to buy like Ethereum, to buy more NFTs, or to buy Bitcoin or whatever, and hold it long term, or I keep compounding the profits. And so now I think we're up to about 500 or so Axies. And I want to say we're about to add another 75 or more Axies probably by the 30th of March. And so we're consistently adding more Axies to our portfolio. We also have a lot more invested in like Mirandus, which is another upcoming game. And so there's all sorts of games we're getting into in the play to earn space.
Wow. Okay. So how did you sort of, because obviously crypto was known about, but the play to earn NFT games weren't really so mainstream as you have made them. So how did you come across them, and how did you know that was an opportunity worth going for?
So The first one I really got into was Gala Games, and I ended up buying a node from them, and that's a kind of like a tool that kind of siphons your resources on your computer and provides it to an ecosystem, and that way they have like cloud computing in a sense. And so that's kind of what they built, and I thought that was going to be a good investment because of the owners of Farmville. One of the co-founders of Farmville joined the Gala Games team, and so I thought that was a good, good kind of background, especially coming from Farmville. That was one of the most played games. Not only that, but they had an actual playable game, which was just like Farmville, and you can earn cryptocurrency. So I thought it was a no-brainer. And so I ended up buying those. And then I also got into Axie Infinity because it was the most widely known blue chip program, or like, I guess, play to earn game. And something that was actually like usable. All the other ones were kind of speculative. And so I ended up buying into that and just playing the game myself. And I thought it was really boring. And I thought I could never like have any fun with this game. But I tried it out anyways. I kept playing. I was like, oh man, well, I made like $200. That's cool. And so then I remembered back in my back in the day when I played World of Warcraft, and I had like 10, like I had 3 computers set up, and I had like what was it, like 3 windows on each screen, and with 2 stacks. So I had like 6 on one computer, 6 on the other, and so like 12 accounts going at one time. And I was like, well, I can just do that with Axie Infinity, but you can't get away with it with software. So I wasn't going to pay for software, so I ended up getting VAs. We have a whole system of how we do it, but we ended up getting VAs, and they ended up playing the game that are really, really good, and they are all in our Discord, and they end up playing the games, and we can take profits and share it with them.
Oh, okay. So Axie Infinity, obviously, I know a little bit about it, obviously, because I've been following you, but obviously for the people who don't know what Axie Infinity is, like, what's the game type? Obviously, you said it was a little bit boring, which is quite funny.
So it's boring right now. I think it's going to get, I actually am excited to play it in the next version, which comes out at the end of this month. And they actually hired one of the I don't know if there's a game developers or artists within Pokemon Go. And so they are hiring like tier A or S++ talent. And they also hired another person for their business development. That was a very good hire from like Jump Capital. So they're putting in like these people in place that know kind of the business side of scaling huge companies. And now they're putting the right people in the right seats. And so that's really exciting to watch. And now they're launching a more of a fast-paced game that was more like Pokemon. So if you like Pokemon, then you're going to more like this game because you're going more, I guess, mainstream, versus now it's very slow pace and it's very kind of repetitive. And with this new version, it's coming out with a lot of new content, new cards, new parts on the actual Axie, different burning mechanics. And I think that there's a lot more that we have not seen that they're going to release within the whole Axie Infinity ecosystem.
Oh, okay. So I think obviously the main obviously one that caught my eye was like they've pulled somebody from Pokemon Go, because I remember you saying it's very much like a Pokemon game, like in terms of the concept about what can beat what, etc. I remember the triangle of axes on your PDF. So then obviously they're going to go even more like playable, but obviously now you can earn as well at the same time.
Yeah, so you can earn right now in this version, but in the way it's set up, that like you were talking about with the Pokemon, where you can breed the different types, and there's different types of axes, and there's a triad where this is weak to this type of axis, and this is strong against these types of axes. And so kind of like that, the element kind of guide or fire and water kind of thing. And so with the new version of the game, they're going to make it where you have like secrets, kind of like Magic the Gathering, where you can't think of some of the other card games where you put down a secret card, and if they do something, it activates that secret, then it does a special attack. And so there's all sorts of different, more tactic and like active Twitch kind of mechanics that are going to be needed kind of in this fast-paced game. And so I think they're really focused on the esports action of it, because they are looking for that crowd and kind of they need that crowd to make it mainstream. And so having it fast-paced is going to get more people to play it, which is going to cause people to stream it. And if people stream it and be like, oh, look how much money I made, then it's going to get people to jump on board. And then that's going to push up the demand, which is going to cause a supply to drop, and which is going to cause the price to just skyrocket. So we are banking definitely on Axie Infinity.
Nice. Okay. So it's about to blow. It's about to blow.
I mean, I can't give financial advice, but we are definitely buying Axies ourselves. And for me, I think of it, like you have to think of your time horizon and what your time horizon is, and the chance of what your money is going to do. So for me, I try and have my money. Before, I was excited about my money doubling after 5 years. With how quick the flow of money is today, you should shoot for 2x in your money every single year. So like, for instance, if you have a savings of $40,000, you should have like 80,000 saved up pretty easily, and keep doubling every single year and have that money saved. That's how quickly your money should turn over nowadays, especially with crypto. Like, I've been able to 10x my money with crypto in a bear market, because there's so many opportunities within crypto. So like, I think for instance, with Axie Infinity, it's kind of like you invest in an NFT, and it's an income producing asset. And depending on how much you invest, when should you see that be 100% return to you, plus having an income producing asset. And so the numbers come out, I think right now, about 7 months is when you should have 100% of your money returned to you. But that's the current price. And the current price is like it's 1 cent, almost 2 cents. And if it shoots up to its all-time high at 32 cents, you're looking at a 20x right there. So your time horizon is 2 months. Do I think it's going to shoot up to 36 cents? I don't think so. I think it's going to probably shoot up to maybe 5 to 10 cents for the first bit, and see, depending on how mainstream it might shoot up again when people start streaming it heavily on Twitch. We get some people like Ninja or whatever getting on that, then it's going to make it more mainstream, and it could shoot up to a lot more. So it just really depends. I think for me personally, there's a lot more upside than there is downside at this point, especially buying at this price point. Plus, I have an income producing asset that keeps minting me money every single day. And so it's like a little ATM that never runs out.
Absolutely love it. And you mentioned, obviously, esports teams. You mentioned you were, like, before the interview, you were buying players.
So we have essentially each set of Axie, you need 3 sets of Axies, and then 1 player to play the set of Axies so that they can earn SLP or smooth love potions. Then I can use that to either convert it to Ethereum and use that for whatever. And so another player wants to be bought out, essentially. So I'm buying all his Axies and keeping his players and using his Axies to earn more money. So he's essentially selling his real estate. I'm buying his real estate, and I have tenants already in place that are going to be making me money.
That's crazy. I love the way like you've literally took what you know from a real estate and then actually how you leverage World of Warcraft and you've actually smashed it into both, haven't you? So it's like actually your NFTs, your real estate, you've got tenants which are players, and then they both just make you money.
Yeah.
While you sit there and look for something else to do.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and pretty much like I spend, so there's payday is on the 1st and the 15th. And so it's those 2 days. That's how we set it up with our esports teams. And so essentially what we get is we have them play and then they get paid on the 1st and the 15th. And so I have to really do it only anything really kind of twice or 3 times in that 14-day kind of span. And then that allows me to buy back my time again and think of something else that I want to do and learn and make money from. So it's fun.
Nice. Absolutely. I love it because it's like when obviously we get loads of guests on, and obviously you're our second interview so far. We've got loads lined up, obviously just getting through the recording process. I already know, sat here looking at my guest list, I'm not going to have another guest like this. This is just so unique, the way you operate, the way you think. Like, in terms of for people who really, really want to build true passive income, and if you take the passive and active scale, well and truly that towards the passive side, less touch points, listening to you and consuming everything you know and learn is something that these guys need to do. Tell me about your car.
So I was talking to you previously. I needed to get a BMW because my wife had one, my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I can't like have this truck, and she has this like nice BMW. I have to get a BMW also. So I got one, and it was like super expensive. I was like, why am I using this all the time? And I had to get it on a Prius. And so now I have a Prius, and I've completely paid it off because it was much less than a BMW. And I ended up putting on Toro. And so I work from home. And so my car sits out in my driveway or in like our street, and it gets picked up and it gets rented through this app. And it makes about like $800 a month. And like, it depends on the month, but like anywhere from 800 to 1,000, sometimes less. And then so it gets picked up and then it gets rented out for a few weeks, and it comes back and it gets dropped back off. I don't really have to do anything, so it's another income producing asset.
So let's get this straight. You rent out your houses, you rent out your NFTs, you rent out your car.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that like you rent out?
So no, I mean, that's like, if you think about it, that's how the rich get richer, is they rent out their assets to people that can't afford to buy it themselves. And so you're pretty much continuously having this cash flow, and then you use those like that cash flow to buy more income producing assets. And so at a certain point, you just keep buying income, right? So you keep buying just like a salary every single month. It's like, I have this bunch of cash. How much more cash do I want to add to my monthly cash flow? And so that's what I keep doing, is like, for instance, buying all the gamers guild is I'm buying an income. And so I'm using my money today that I don't need to buy a kind of a forever asset in a way. And then I'm obviously converting it into a long term and then putting that money to work. So it's yield on top of yield. And so when you kind of learn how money works and how you can use it to kind of play the game, you kind of understand how you can leverage one asset to create debt, and then use that debt to be leveraged to actually grow even more. It's kind of cool.
You're right, mate. It is, obviously, as you can say, as you move that money around to then get access to that money, which then pays you this and probably covers the loan repayment here,
right,
that plus profit, and then you just keep going around in a circle, and you just keep building and share that monthly recurring revenue, that income stream, that those different types of salaries. And it's just, as you say,
Yep, exactly.
You've got the ability to rent out your car because you do not need it. There's like that's when you know, like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I don't have to go out to earn. So no, that's awesome. Now there's a couple of things there that you've mentioned. You mentioned obviously like crypto projects, like finding the right type of crypto project, obviously to get your money, like to spike your money, your return quickly. So how do you identify those projects? And I also know, but from following you, you spoke heavily about staking and APYs and switch and stuff like that. Can you shed a little bit of light on those two things?
Yeah. So as far as finding crypto projects, I would say I kind of find a project that is like a rental property. I know so if you look at the tax code, it says that crypto is taxed as a property. You're not, when you sell it, that's when you acquire a taxable event. And so, and there's obviously other things, but pretty much that's the main one. Not when you buy it, only when you sell it. And so if you're holding it, you can borrow against it. And so you can put it on like a Aave, you can put it on Nexto and these different projects, and then you can stake it. So that's like your long-term hold. And so with NFTs, there's not many that keep producing a stable kind of income that I can convert into one of these long-term holds, like Ethereum. And so one of them was, like I said, Gala, because a lot of these other projects that I kind of check out and I just put money into, they put a twist on it, like an NFT, where it's an NFT that is a node, but a real true node never really uses, an NFT really doesn't use your resources. Only a true node with software, like a founder's node, like on my computer right here, will use the resources, and you're contributing to it. So it has utility actually. And so with Axie Infinity, same thing. I didn't get in super early. I got in probably in March. And so one of the bull runs I think I hit. And I saw that they had a good following. I saw that they produced a quality game, and they already had a lot of funding. And I saw that the constant marketplace was constantly churning. And so with the transaction fees with crypto within the Axie Infinity community, every time there's a purchase, the Axie community or the founders get like 5.5% of the sale price. And so they have a treasury. And so having a treasury, having a utility token, having a usable game, all these were like check marks of good things to have. And so I was like, well, if I'm making a little bit of money, how can I scale this? And so then that's when I got really deep into Axie Infinity. And so I kind of find anything that is something that has a good treasury that is going to last, because most of the things I'm going to look for in any project is like, how long will it last? Because if I put something in and it's only going to last like for 3 months, you're not going to make your money back out, or it's a gamble. So I'd rather take something that's long term that I can just consistently pull cash from for 3 to 5 years. I'll take that any day, because then I can roll that into something else. And I've already doubled my money from my current investment. So that was a good investment for me.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So like, for instance, to find Axie Infinity and to find like those crypto projects that you have had really good runs with, where did you go? Like, what did you do? Like, did you just type in Google like crypto projects, or like play to earn?
Good question. So I kind of just look at the founding staff. So like, okay, I'll give you a perfectly failed attempt because you don't know. So Voxies. I have 3 Voxies that are different than Axies. And this game is a game that has been in development for 6 years. I've been looking at their YouTube, and it's been they've been developing this game, this platform for 6 years, and so they have a huge history. And I bought them for I think 1.4 ETH for one, and like 1.4 ETH on another, and then 1.2 on another, and they're all worth like 0.2, and they are not doing well. And I think the blockchain that the whole thing that they're building is amazing. I just don't think they have the marketing team, and so it's really at this point, I think you want to go with I don't even guess anymore. I go with like solid projects that are moving with solid growth. So for instance, another one that I did really well with was DeFi Kingdoms. And so I got into DeFi Kingdoms. It was already doing well. There was talks of them moving to their own blockchain. And so I started buying into that, and it pays really, really well, doing their liquidity pools, and cashed out from there. And now we get a airdrop that's going to do really, really well. And I bought in again when the market tanked. And so they're about to launch onto the Avalanche blockchain. And so that's another company that's going from one blockchain, expanding to another blockchain. So they have the money in the treasury there. And so again, another game I'm definitely buying into. So I kind of I would say I'm the lazy investor because I don't try and find these moonshots. I try and find stable projects that are like worth investing in and that are going to be there for like 3 to 5 to 10 years, because I'm going to make my money back day after day versus a chance of it being completely rugged. I find it funny that a lot of these people that are investors that invest in crypto, that take these like moonshot investments, like you wouldn't spend all that money on a house, like a rental property that could just like disappear overnight. Like I think that's insane. Like why? Like if you were gonna build your house on a crater, like I don't know, I don't even know what you would like build like on a volcano. That sounds like a horrible idea. So like, why would you ever do that? So like the same thing with crypto or like anything. Why are you investing in like an asset that could like melt overnight? So that's why I'm super boring. I do solid projects that show growth, that they're going to go into something that is just shows that they have money by using their treasury to kind of scale their projects.
Okay, so you mentioned obviously about like the basically the moonshots, and obviously people just throw money at like hitting hopes. Do you feel because it's so easy to get into the barrier of entry to buy that crypto, to buy that NFT, and the fact that there's no sort of, you don't get nothing physical back, so you're a lot more detached than say buying a house, aren't you, in terms of emotion? Like it's like when they said like the credit cards and debit cards were the worst thing ever, weren't they? Because it stopped you physically looking at your money, so you just used to spend. Do you feel like the crypto scenario is pretty similar, because you don't have to pick it up and move it, just like you don't have to hand over keys or
100,010%, because I'm, like I said, I'm very frugal, and I would not want to spend money on, I don't know, I mean, we're going to Cabo this week, but that was all on points and like, free pretty much. But I like buying a set of weights. It was like, I don't want to buying clothes. Like I don't want to buy that stuff. So I'm very frugal in that, but a computer GIF image for 20 grand, like sign me up. I mean, it's kind of crazy because I would not, I never spend money on myself, but like as an investment, people are, and myself, that are so easily willing to, have an NFT that's worth like $40,000. Why? It's pretty crazy, but it's a fun new world. So it's if you're willing to take risks and you don't, and you know your risk tolerance, and you know the chances of the upside could outperform the downside, then it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Oh, that's fair enough. Now I'm going to literally dumb this down as my last question for anyone who's been listening and going, like the whole world's just been turned upside down by Brandon's approach. Right, so you open up Safari or Google Chrome or whatever. What you do? Where'd you go first?
Chrome.
So what would you type in? How would people get started in this? Like, where would they go? Like, what did you do to get started? What did you type into?
Oh man, so I think a lot of people to get into crypto, you just need to get, just like anything. I think most people they learn, and then they're like, oh, there's a little bit more I can learn, and there's a little bit more I can learn. Then there's a little bit, and they get in this constant trap of never actually taking action.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah, analysis paralysis. And so I'm constantly learning every day. I probably spend a ridiculous amount of time on YouTube, like at least an hour a day on YouTube. And I listen to everything at 2 speed, maybe 2.5 speed. So like I'm cranking through content. So what it takes 3 hours someone to watch on YouTube at regular speed and listening to it like in 1 hour. So I'm going through a lot of content, but I'm actually taking action and I'm learning and I'm failing and I'm learning and I'm seeing what people are saying and taking what they're saying and turning it into copy or like putting it into my subconscious. And so I use money now to learn things. And so if I get in something I'm going to put, like, for instance, when I got into crypto, I spent about $66,000 to learn and get into crypto. You didn't need to spend that much money. I just spent that much money because I wanted to kind of get a master's degree in crypto and kind of go through all the different avenues and see what I could do or see what was able to happen with crypto. Luckily, I was able to pull most of that out, and I still have a bunch in crypto. But the goal, just with any investment, is how quickly can you get your original investment out so you can redeploy it. And so that's kind of what I've been with real estate. You look on your cash on cash return, like how quickly can you pull that original investment that you put in back out so you can redeploy it onto another rental property, or how can you borrow against this rental property, pull that money out to redeploy it. So that's just what you do with crypto, is you just keep redeploying assets. And so now I have 2 income producing assets that produce a lot of money with Axie Infinity and like Gala nodes. And so now I just keep buying those assets off of those magic internet money printing machines. And then I just redeploy those assets into long-term holds.
Nice. So in terms of, obviously, for the newbies.
And then to get back to your question, how would someone get to ready? I just watch a lot of YouTube and getting into it. That's the only way you're getting, because the market changes so much. We do have a little wiki page. If you want to put in the comments down below, it's wiki.themoneyfriends.com. They have like different blockchain resources and a resource guide. So definitely, if you want to kind of know the different swaps or whatever on the different blockchains, then I have resources there. But as far as just learning, just like anything, you have to get into it. You have to learn what's a good project, and kind of just that's just being repetitive. Because I'll give you a story. I was getting into an NFT project. I was learning about it, and I was about to mint their NFT. And I put my wallet on. I hook up to the site, and I'm about to mint this NFT. And I'm like, oh, it looks perfect. This is the website. It looks right. And I'm going to mint, and it's like, this is the price, and the price to send was like $3. And I was like, that's what? $3? That is a lie. Gas for Ethereum is at least $50. And so that clued me off, because someone who is new into crypto would have just probably that's great, I'll send it off. And I'm getting a steal right now, but since I've minted so many things, and practiced so many times and taken so many swings, I realized that the S on the address bar was actually added, and it wasn't the address bar that I wanted. So instead of minting, I was sending my crypto. And just because that triggered in my head, made me rethink that purchase and saved me like the 0.2 Ethereum or whatever it was, $1,000 or $2,000. And so, or 500, whatever it was. And so luckily for me, just being able to take those reps and getting into something and taking those swings has like been able to get me to understand what crypto is, and has allowed me to earn a lot of money in the process.
So, do you know what? It's so scary, isn't it? Because like there is a downside to crypto, like not just obviously the short term like ups and downs, but like there is scams out there, and there is obviously like people trying to basically just get their money. So it's good that you've highlighted like both sides. And if people don't want to sit there and consume 3-4 hours of YouTube content a day learning, they could probably just go to you and your group in Facebook and ask questions and learn from there. Would that be a good place to send people if they wanted to know more?
Yeah, I mean, we have a free group. We have a paid group. It just really depends on how quickly you want to learn. See, the thing is, everyone has different learning styles and different approaches. So it really just depends on the person themselves. Like I'm horrible at I like to keep learning, and when I consume one thing, I keep learning on top of that. So I think that if you're someone who is a constant person who wants to consume content, learn like the best way to approach Axie Infinity, and then also consume and learn on top of that, then our program is probably the right fit for you. If you're someone who's like, what do I do next? What do I do next? What do I do next? Then we probably wouldn't be a good fit for you. But there's definitely a lot of ways to learn. So I would say find the way that learns for you. Go to our free group. Check me out on Brandon Duff on Facebook. Get into our free group, kind of see what it is all about, and then make a decision from that.
Awesome. So what I will do, obviously, for everyone listening who wants to reach out to Brandon or join his free group and just see what's going on, I will put all the links in the show notes so people can click through and obviously go and take a look for themselves. Or as Brandon said, obviously he's quite an independent learner. YouTube is a goldmine for this stuff. So that's also definitely another place to go. So this is coming up to the end of the show, Brandon, and as usual, mate, you never fail to deliver. So thank you so much.
Yeah, always. It's always a pleasure to be on here with you.
I've absolutely loved tonight, mate, as I always do. So no, thank you so much. Have you got anything left you want to throw out? Anything you want to add regarding passive income, or like obviously people getting in or learning or to this space?
Yeah, I think that, and I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been asking people lately on Facebook, like, what books should they reading? And a lot of people say they don't have time to read. And it's crazy because I think that reading or just any kind of learning from someone is the quickest way to condense time. And so I'm constantly learning because if someone can take 10 years or 5 years of knowledge like real estate and condense it into like a short little hour podcast, you just condense 10 years of time into an hour. And so I think that's a very powerful thing. And so that's why I'm constantly learning, constantly leveling up my game. And then if you think about like listening to speeds at a faster pace, or say you're above average reader, you're going to be learning so much quicker than everyone else. So, and then if you finally take action, then you will do better than 99% of the people out there.
And you know what, mate, you are right. And we covered it right at the start, and it was like, don't just get stuck in analysis paralysis. You were listening to these videos 3 hour long and you implemented straight away. Implementation is where you get most of your learning, because going through that process is where you 100% get your biggest growth. When you make mistakes, that's where you get your even bigger growth. Yeah,
and I would say, like, I think we're set up to be like, well, what do I do next? Like, just do it. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a million. I think people think there's one way to solve something. And there's a million ways to make a solution for something. Like anything I've done, like I'm not creative. Like I didn't think of something out of thin air. I was just given the tools and I was resourceful. I used my resourcefulness to create something that people wanted. And so if you can just you don't need, I think a lot of people think they need resources, but I think a lot of people just don't realize they need to be resourceful. So if you can be resourceful, then you're going to do well in life. So.
100%. So as I said, mate, that's the end of the show. So thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, if you've tuned in and you've stayed right till the end, I greatly appreciate it and thank you so much. I hope you've really enjoyed the show tonight, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye. Peace.